And unfortunately, big tech, the most deep-pocketed, godlike technology in the world, is trying to convince young men that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the pecking order of trying to establish friendships when you got Reddit and Discord? Why put on a tie and navigate the corporate world when you can trade crypto or stocks on Robinhood or Coinbase? And why would you go through the effort, the expense, and the potential rejection and humiliation of establishing a romantic relationship when you...
Have you ever noticed how some shows suddenly cut off every few years? Almost like they're afraid to finish their own story. That's exactly what happened here. Bill Maher, a host who always jumps in with an opinion, went completely silent. It happened right after Professor Scott Galloway shared some shocking thoughts live on air. The moment he spoke, you could practically see Maher trying to process it. No clever reply, no smooth shift to another topic, just stillness. And honestly, that silence said more than any punchline could. Before we get to what Galloway revealed, you should know this. His message was a wake-up call for modern boys and young men. If you're tired of the same recycled Hollywood stories about tech problems, masculinity debates, or so-called bad guys, hit like and subscribe, because today we're exploring something much bigger, a quiet crisis shaping an entire generation. All right, here's where everything begins. Galloway points out something most people completely overlook. The internet controls the daily lives of today's young men. Big tech has become the most powerful, wealthy, and influence-heavy industry the world has ever seen. And it isn't just entertaining people anymore, it's capturing their attention for life. Think about it. Platforms like Reddit and Discord remove the uncomfortable feeling of meeting new people in real life. Apps like Robinhood let you trade coins and stocks without ever putting on a clean shirt, preparing for an interview, or facing rejection. And with endless choices, AI companions, online creators, and dating apps that treat attention like a jackpot, many boys never face the challenge of actually asking someone out. Why step into something uncertain and emotional when a screen promises comfort, control, and zero embarrassment?
Fortunately, big tech, the most deep-pocketed, godlike technology in the world, is trying to convince young men that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life online. Why go through the pecking order of trying to establish friendships when you got Reddit and Discord? Why put on a tie and navigate the corporate world when you can trade crypto or stocks on Robinhood or Coinbase? And why would you go through the effort, the expense, and the potential rejection and humiliation of establishing a romantic relationship when you...
It sounds warm and comfortable at first, doesn't it? But that feeling is exactly where the trouble begins. Galloway's next point hit like a shockwave. He argued that without even noticing, society has built an economy that relies on a new kind of young man, one who is socially withdrawn and disconnected. Think about that for a moment. He isn't suggesting that men are choosing this path on their own. He insists they're being pushed into it. The systems around them are anything but neutral. According to him, younger men are being nudged toward chasing digital thrills, pulled in by constant dopamine hits instead of finding real satisfaction in their everyday lives. And from here, the picture becomes even more unsettling. Right now, 1 out of every 3 men under 25 still lives with their parents. By the time they hit 30, it's still 1 in 5. You might wonder, maybe they're just unmotivated or struggling to grow up. But the truth runs deeper, and it's far more complex. Money plays a huge role, so does the culture they're growing up in, and the psychological strain is real. Prices have risen faster than paychecks. Housing has become incredibly expensive. Even the so-called beginner jobs often demand experience they've never had the chance to gain.
Just for example, the number of men, I didn't realize this till I read the book, the percentage who live at home, still live with their parents. What are those numbers?
It's about 30% of men under the age of 25, 1 in 3 are still at home. 1 in 5 are still at home by the age of 30. So
is that economic or emotional or both?
Yes, it's one. Men aren't. I mean, effectively, what you have is they're up against this indomitable enemy, and that is 20% or 40% of the S&P is now 10 companies whose primary mission is to get you as glued to a screen for as long as possible. Any minute they can keep you on a screen longer is billions of dollars. And a young man's brain, which prefrontal cortex is less mature, is more susceptible to that need for dopa. So what we've literally done, Bill, is unwittingly built an economy which is dependent upon our ability to evolve a new species of asocial, asexual.
On top of everything else, the idea of what it means to be a man has been steadily weakened by a long, slow cultural shift. Young men are told to be strong, confident, and steady, yet in the same breath, they're warned that these traits are somehow dangerous. They're encouraged to be honest about their feelings and show emotion, but The moment they do, they're laughed at or brushed aside. That kind of contradiction can push anyone to the edge. So when Galloway describes today's young men as unsure of where they fit, he isn't exaggerating. The world around them keeps saying they're unimportant while also blaming them for everything that goes wrong. And let's be honest, big tech isn't innocent here. These companies built massive fortunes by shaping online worlds that leave people disconnected and alone. We're slowly turning into a society of spectators. Instead of living life directly, people watch it unfold through screens, but technology alone isn't to blame.
And what you have is big tech, who is not our friend, is trying to sequester people, especially young men, from the most important thing in their life, and that is relationships. So essentially,
the number one thing men are afraid of is girls.
Yeah.
It's not lightning, it's girls.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about that rejection of going up to somebody, you know, like you say, cold, and you just have to get through that. And I feel like we are further from that than ever. I mean, kids don't even want to answer the phone.
Yeah.
They find that a little too alarming, unless you text first.
40.
Really, because that's passive, because you answer, that nobody sees you, they don't see your reaction, you don't have to come up with a conversation.
100%. 45% of men 18 to 24 have never asked a woman out in person. 63% of men under the age of 30 are not even pursuing a relationship. And if you think about the most rewarding things in your life, I mean, the things that really matter, they are essentially relationships. What do they all have in common? They're really damn hard.
This shift has been fueled by another cultural transformation, modern feminism. Let's be clear before the debate gets heated. When feminism first took root, it championed equality, equal rights, equal opportunity, and equal respect. Yet in recent years, a distorted version has emerged, one that sometimes promotes something very different. In some circles, open hostility or even contempt toward men has become common, rather than celebrating true equality. Hollywood has been the loudest megaphone for this message. Think about it. When was the last time a male character in a movie wasn't the villain, the joke, or the emotionally stuck man who needs a woman to fix him? That same formula runs through sitcoms and ads. Dad is clueless. Men are unnecessary. Being male is dangerous. And the message works. Tell a group of people long enough that they are the problem, and many will start to believe it. Some overcompensate while others retreat. Some men withdraw completely, retreating into screens and solitude, convinced they're better off alone. Others become angry, blaming society or women for their struggles. Both reactions stem from the same root, detachment. Galloway gave young men a stark warning. The pain waiting outside pales in comparison to the despair you'll face if you lock yourself away. The translation is simple. Step forward, put down the phone, go live.
I believe slowly but surely we're going to start to see fewer and fewer young men out in the wild because they're going to decide to sequester. And if I could say anything to young men, it's that the anxiety and depression you will eventually feel in your basement sequestered from other mammals is far greater than the fear of anything that lays outside of that room for you. Get out of the basement, get off your phone.
Put down your phone. That's why Mars's silence was so powerful. Even he understood this undeniable truth. For once, it wasn't political, it was purely human. The conversation then shifted. Ma turned his attention to media bias, focusing on how the BBC covered Trump's comments on January 6th. And then, unexpectedly, he spoke up for Trump. Yes, that Bill Maher, the same one who has long been one of Trump's fiercest critics. They did him wrong, he stated plainly. The point wasn't that he suddenly supported Trump. It was that truth matters more than loyalty to any camp. In today's hyper-tribal world, hearing that perspective is crucial. Ma's message was clear. If you truly value truth, it shouldn't matter who delivers it.
What was the panel's reaction to the turmoil at the BBC over how they edited Trump's January 6th comments? Well, they did do him dirty. There's no doubt about it. They purposely put together something to make it look like he didn't say what he said.
The tragedy is what he said was bad enough. Why did you have to doctor it? I mean, I don't understand it.
Because that one to me was never a smoking gun. Now, do I think he should have handled January 6th differently? Very much so, I do. But it was always, you can pull out the thing where he says peaceful protest. Yeah. He uses the word peaceful. It was always murky. To me, the crime was always simply never conceding the election.
And calling up the Georgia Secretary of State and saying, find me 11,000 votes.
But that wasn't that day.
Yeah. And waiting for like 3 hours to try to call the mob off.
Right. But I'm talking from the whole time the election was over until this very moment.
He's right. Defending accuracy isn't the same as giving someone an endorsement. It's simply telling the truth. It reminded me why so many continue watching Maher, even when they disagree with him. He's willing to call out absurdity wherever it appears, and that honesty is rare, especially today when media outlets seem more focused on stirring anger than informing the public. Galloway seized the moment, pointing out an interesting contradiction. Social media spreads misinformation in seconds, yet traditional media is criticized for a single mistake. Most Americans now get 2/3 of their news from social platforms, yet these spaces operate with almost no accountability. Algorithms push what's dramatic, polarizing, and attention-grabbing because that drives engagement. Anger becomes a reward. Meanwhile, careful, factual reporting is still better suited to conventional media.
Traditional media does a better job of fact. Don't we hold them to an entirely different standard? Fox News knows that they're spreading misinformation about voting machines being weaponized by Hugo Chavez. They knew it was a lie. They continued to promote that misinformation. They get fined $750 million. What happened on Fox was a dumpster fire compared to the nuclear mushroom cloud that happens every 3 minutes on social media. 2/3 of Americans get their news from social media, and yet they are held to absolutely no standards. And when the BBC fucks up, our hair's on fire. Why on earth are we not applying anything resembling the same standards for algorithmically elevated content to these quote-unquote nascent platforms? I get that the BBC screwed up, but by that standard, where we're getting 2/3 of our news screws up about 1 million times a second.
The consequences are clear. Young men are increasingly isolated. Society teaches women they don't need men, and online arguments replace genuine human connection. It's easy to see where this could lead. Later, Ma returned to a personal plea, abandoning the earlier detachment in favor of something more human. Let's make this Father's Day the last in a culture where fathers have become punching bags, he said.
Let's make the Father's Day we just celebrated the last one that takes place in a culture where dads have become such punching bags. Literally the last demographic group that TV, ads, and movies can still depict as clueless, useless dipshits. Basically just another child that mom has to look after. Every sitcom is tonight on ABC, Larry burns down the house. And the tagline in the commercial for every household product is basically, because your husband is a...
Finally, it was said aloud. The entertainment industry has long treated fathers as foolish. Every ad, every sitcom follows the same formula. Mom is the hero, dad is basically another child to manage, and the bumbling father can't cook, clean, or parent properly. It's funny at first, but the joke stops being harmless when you consider the broader impact seeked. Society's view of men gets shaped by that ridicule. There was a time when being a man meant courage, leadership, responsibility, and providing for others. Now, those qualities are often framed as flaws. And as Maher jokingly noted, it all started with 3 men and a baby married with children. From there came Everyone Loves Raymond, Family Guy, Modern Family, The Simpsons, the list goes on. Each male lead was portrayed as lazy, clueless, or emotionally stunted. Hollywood laughed, but the damage wasn't funny. For young boys growing up in that environment, the lesson was clear. Being a man was confusing, contradictory, and often mocked. Be strong, but not too strong. Achieve success without competing.
I'm not sure when this trend started, but I'm going to blame the 1987 movie 3 Men and a Baby. The premise of which is that 3 grown men can't manage to keep a baby alive. The same year gave us Married with Children, with its idiot shoe salesman of a father, followed by an endless parade of eye-roll, short-bus dads, Homer Simpson, Family Guy, Modern Family, Malcolm in the Middle, Everybody Loves Raymond, Home Improvement, according to Jim. And it's not just the old-school broadcast TV sitcoms. It's everywhere. It's highbrow streaming stuff. It's major motion pictures.
Show emotion, but not too much. It was exhausting and bewildering. Now, some studios are trying to create positive male role models to undo decades of this anti-masculine messaging, but it's too little, too late. A PR apology can't erase years of cultural conditioning. Hollywood helped spark the problem, and fixing it will take far more than a few sentimental films. Add to that the influence of big tech, media distortion, and the extremes of modern feminism, and a clear picture emerges. The erosion of masculinity didn't happen overnight. It was gradual, pervasive, and deeply entrenched. These lessons still hold true today. They are about people trying to navigate a world that keeps shifting the rules of how to behave.
I know. I don't have any kids. I made a different choice in life and decided to have money. But all these shows, they can't all be lying about what it's like to have kids.
Your EQ is off the charts, Nick.
Aha, Nick. I'm Nick now. What happened to Dad?
Well, I don't know, Nick. What happened to Dad?
Hey, come in here.
Why are you acting so? I mean, it is only $10.
Bro, you hear how they talk to me? Do you hear how you gotta say something?
Whoa, hold on. When are you guys planning on coming home?
11 or 12?
Yeah, same.
You know you both have school tomorrow.
Ah, no, that's true. We do. Yeah, he's right.
It's all parenting, Dad.
So what can we take from this? If you're a young man feeling lost, stuck, or uncertain, go outside, connect with others, take risks, make mistakes, and face rejection. That's life. It's meant to be challenging. That's what makes it meaningful. The digital world isn't your home, it's a distraction. Real growth, love, and accomplishment happen in the real world. And for everyone else, stop mocking the very qualities, strength, responsibility, resilience that have built communities. Being strong isn't harmful. Taking responsibility isn't a burden. When rooted in respect and purpose, masculinity matters. It's essential Galloway might be right. Isolation underpins both our society and our business models. But the solution begins simply. Step away from the screen, leave the house, and reconnect with reality. Too many people are missing out on life. That was the key takeaway from that quiet moment on Bill Maher's show. An uncommon truth that everyone needed to hear, even if they didn't want to. So what do you think? Are we witnessing a resurgence of masculinity, or is it truly at risk? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've made it this far, you deserve recognition. To catch the next deep dive like this, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We tackle the conversations others shy away from. Thank you to everyone watching. And now it's time to leave the basement. The world is waiting.